Let's start with first news. Alex Volkanovski has already started preparing for a potential title fight against Movsar Evloev, who now appears to be the most likely contender to challenge for the featherweight championship next. While the official bout agreement has not been signed yet, Volkanovski has made it clear that he believes Evloev is the only logical option for his next title defense. The champion has already returned to training camp and is preparing as if the fight is officially happening, with confirmation on the date and location expected soon. For Evloev, this could finally be the championship opportunity he has been waiting years for. The undefeated contender has built an impressive record and defeated several highly ranked opponents, but he has repeatedly been overlooked whenever title fights were being booked. The situation became so frustrating that Daniel Cormier recently suggested Evloev has been treated even worse than Arman, who has also struggled to receive the championship opportunities his resume deserves. Now, however, things appear to be changing. With Volkanovski publicly pushing for the matchup and already beginning his preparations, Evloev looks closer than ever to getting his shot at the featherweight throne. Volkanovski recently spoke about his training situation, revealing that he was already putting in multiple sessions each morning and getting ready to ramp things up. He explained that although nothing has been officially confirmed, the circumstances make it pretty obvious that Evloev is likely to be next. Because of that, Volkanovski is preparing as if the fight is already on. He wants to get his wrestling preparation started early, knowing exactly what Evloev brings to the table. The champion is now waiting for the UFC to finalize the details, but everything is pointing toward a massive featherweight title fight between Volkanovski and the undefeated Evloev. Move on to another news. Daniel Cormier has opened up about the ongoing beef between his team and Conor, making it clear that there is still no real relationship between them. Cormier and Conor have exchanged words several times over the years. Their issues became especially heated when DC criticized Conor for calling out Diego Sanchez, leading Conor to fire back with harsh insults toward the former champion. However, according to Cormier, the situation goes much deeper than simple trash talk. He explained that Conor crossed a line during the build-up to his fight with Khabib by bringing up topics that should have remained completely off-limits. Cormier specifically pointed to family and religion, explaining how seriously his brothers and teammates take their faith and their families. For DC, once those subjects were brought into the rivalry, it became extremely difficult to move past what happened. Cormier compared the situation to the relationship between Khabib's team and Conor. He said that the hostility is so deep that there are people within his own team who simply do not want to have anything to do with Conor. DC explained that his situation with Jon Jones is different. Even though his team shares the same strong emotions toward Jones, Cormier believes Americans can sometimes move past personal conflicts and still work together when necessary. He pointed out that people have different beliefs, backgrounds, and ways of handling conflict. That allowed him and Jones to eventually put their differences aside enough to operate in the same environment. But when it comes to Conor, Cormier says the damage was different. He emphasized that what Conor said crossed a boundary that could not simply be forgotten, which is why there is still no relationship between Conor and Cormier's team. Cormier also praised Khabib, describing him as a man of honor and pointing to his refusal to engage with Conor even after everything that happened between their teams. Move on to another news. Max Holloway recently found himself debating an Ilia fan during one of his live streams, and the conversation quickly turned toward the highly discussed Justin Gaethje fight. The discussion began when Max was asked about his thoughts on the matchup. Holloway admitted that he believed Gaethje had a legitimate chance to win, although he never expected it to be an easy fight. Max explained that he initially thought Gaethje could have found success with his leg kicks. He believed that if Gaethje could damage his opponent's legs early, it might completely change the way the fight played out. However, Max also made it clear that believing Gaethje could win was different from confidently predicting that he would win. He corrected himself during the conversation, saying that he simply thought Gaethje had a realistic opportunity, especially considering how many people were counting him out. The discussion then shifted toward the incredible reputation of Gaethje and what he has accomplished throughout his career. Max appeared to have a lot of respect for him, with the conversation describing him as one of the greatest fighters of their generation. But things became more heated when the Ilia fan brought up the striking matchup. The fan argued that nobody in Ilia's weight class could match his striking and suggested that what happened to Gaethje was difficult to believe. At one point, the fan even joked that the fight looked rigged, comparing the shocking result to something that could happen in WWE. Max reacted to the comments while the fan continued explaining how difficult it was to watch the fight unfold. The fan admitted that he had money on Gaethje that night, making the result even more painful to watch. He explained that he felt terrible seeing Gaethje get beaten after backing him to win. Max then pointed out the obvious problem with that prediction, telling him that he had simply put his money on the wrong guy that night. The entire exchange showed that even Max, despite his own elite striking background, recognized Gaethje's ability to make a fight competitive. At the same time, the shocking result clearly left a strong impression on everyone watching, especially those who believed Gaethje had a real chance to pull off the upset. Move on to another news. We're only a few days away from UFC 330, and Islam Makhachev is already getting a huge amount of attention for his insane body transformation ahead of his welterweight debut. In the newest episode of Embedded, Islam appeared noticeably bigger and more muscular, looking completely dialed in for this new chapter of his career. His physique immediately caught the attention of the MMA community, with fans praising how shredded and powerful he looks at welterweight. Social media reactions quickly started pouring in, with fans describing Islam as absolutely jacked and saying that his physical condition appears to be on another level. One fan pointed out that the move to welterweight seems to have helped Islam physically, especially after watching his previous fight against Dustin. They noticed that his arms appeared more relaxed when throwing punches, and suggested that the additional size could benefit him in the new division. However, there is still one major concern heading into his matchup with Ian Gary. Taking down and controlling a fighter like Gary is never easy, especially as the fight progresses into the later rounds. Despite that, many fans believe Islam's mentality will continue to be one of his biggest advantages. His ability to stay composed under pressure has been one of the defining characteristics of his career. Islam's new physique also lines up with recent comments from his coach, Javier Mendez. In a new interview, Mendez revealed that Islam has added around 5 kilograms of muscle to his frame while preparing for the welterweight division. That's more than 11 pounds of additional muscle, which represents a significant physical change for a fighter who previously competed at lightweight. According to Mendez, Islam also feels better carrying the extra weight. Rather than struggling with the additional size, the former lightweight champion apparently believes welterweight suits his body and overall performance much better. Mendez even suggested that Islam may never return to lightweight again. That would be a major development for the UFC, considering how dominant Islam was at 155 pounds. But if he continues feeling stronger, healthier, and more comfortable at welterweight, there may be very little reason for him to make the difficult cut back down. With UFC 330 approaching, all eyes are now on how Islam's new body translates inside the octagon. His added muscle, improved physical condition, and confidence at welterweight could make this a completely new version of the champion. Move on to another news. Conor has given fans a first look at his injured knee just days after undergoing surgery, sharing an update that appears to show him remaining positive during the early stages of his recovery. The former UFC champion recently underwent surgery on his right knee after suffering a ruptured ACL and meniscus injuries. The procedure marked another difficult setback for Conor, but his latest update suggests that he is already focused on the recovery process. Just 5 days after the surgery, Conor released a short video showing his injured knee. The footage gave fans their first glimpse of the knee following the operation. And despite the obvious seriousness of the injury, Conor appeared to be in good spirits. In the clip, Conor proudly showed the condition of his leg while reflecting on the recovery process. Rather than sounding discouraged, he delivered a confident message and appeared determined to approach rehabilitation with the same mindset he has displayed throughout his career. Conor said, "That's what setting records looks like," before repeating the statement for emphasis. He then made it clear that the footage was from day 5 after surgery. While the video itself was brief, the update quickly attracted attention because of how soon Conor decided to share it. Recovering from an ACL injury is a long process, and the early days following surgery are often only the beginning of a lengthy rehabilitation journey. The fact that Conor is already documenting his recovery could give fans an idea of how seriously he's approaching the next stage of his career. For now, the priority is getting the knee healthy and rebuilding his strength. ACL and meniscus injuries can require significant rehabilitation, meaning Conor will have to remain patient while working through the recovery process. The latest video does not provide a specific timeline for his return to competition, but it does show that he is already thinking about the challenge ahead. Conor has built his career around comebacks, and this latest injury represents another major test. Whether he eventually returns to the octagon or focuses on other opportunities, his recovery will be closely followed by the MMA community. For now, the message from Conor is simple. 5 days after surgery, he is already focused on moving forward and getting back to work. Move on to another news. Ilia has finally broken his silence following his brutal stoppage loss to Justin Gaethje, sending a short but noticeable message toward his longtime rival Paddy Pimblett. Since suffering the defeat, Ilia has practically vanished from the public eye. Unlike his usual outspoken personality, the former champion has largely avoided the media and has only appeared occasionally on social media. However, he recently made his presence felt with a comment that immediately caught the attention of MMA fans. Ilia responded to a post involving Pimblett by calling the British lightweight a mushroom. It was a short message, but considering the history between the two fighters, it was enough to reignite their ongoing rivalry. The comment came directly after Pimblett attempted to troll Ilia following his loss to Gaethje. Pimblett recently claimed that he had purchased the exact corner stool that Ilia was sitting on when the fight against Gaethje was stopped. The bizarre claim quickly went viral, with Pimblett turning Ilia's defeat into another opportunity for trash talk. Instead of responding with a long statement or giving an interview, Ilia simply fired back with his mushroom comment. That brief response shows that despite staying away from the spotlight, Ilia has not forgotten about his rivalry with Pimblett. The tension between the two fighters has been building for quite some time. Their exchanges have regularly produced headlines, and Pimblett has never been shy about taking shots at Ilia. Now, following Ilia's shocking defeat, Pimblett appears determined to keep the pressure on and make the loss part of their ongoing rivalry. At the same time, Ilia is facing an important period in his career. The loss to Gaethje was a major setback, and his next move could determine how quickly he can rebuild his position in the lightweight division. For Pimblett, meanwhile, the situation presents an opportunity to continue gaining attention while waiting for his own next challenge. The bad blood between the two lightweights is clearly not going away. If anything, Ilia's latest response suggests that the rivalry remains alive, even while both fighters try to figure out what comes next. And with Pimblett continuing to troll him publicly, fans could see even more exchanges between the two before they potentially settle their differences inside the octagon. For now, Ilia has answered Pimblett with just a few words, but that was enough to send the message that the beef is far from over. Move on to another news. The UFC continues adding new matchups to its upcoming cards, with several interesting fights now being announced for September and October. One of the newly announced fights is scheduled for the UFC September 25th card. Castaneda is coming off a draw against Mark Boligan back in April. Over his last 5 fights, he has gone 2-1, so he will be looking to get back into the win column. Standing across from him will be Alex Taha, who has not competed since April 2025. In his most recent fight, he suffered a unanimous decision loss to Demian Blackshear. Taha has gone 3-2 in his last 5 appearances, making this another important opportunity for him to build some momentum. With both fighters coming off difficult recent stretches, this matchup should be an interesting one, especially with both men looking to get back on track. Another fight has also been announced for the September 26 card, with Montel Jackson set to face bantamweight veteran Ricky Simon. Jackson enters the matchup looking to stop a two-fight losing streak. He recently suffered back-to-back decision losses against Hani Barcelos and Deiveson Figueiredo. Before those setbacks, Jackson had put together an impressive 6-fight winning streak, so he will be determined to get his career moving in the right direction again. As for Simon, he fought Adrian Yanez to a draw in his most recent appearance this past April. That result came after a unanimous decision loss to Hani Barcelos in November. That means both fighters have plenty of motivation heading into this matchup, and both will be desperate to return to the win column. Finally, another matchup has been announced for UFC 332 on October 3rd. Alden Cormier is set to face Rodriguez, adding yet another fight to what is quickly becoming an increasingly packed UFC schedule.